What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, over on Twitter, I saw some information that, to me personally, exposes Activision and all the development teams behind Call of Duty on why this franchise has been going on a complete downward spiral, and it gets worse and worse and worse every year. You know, minus Warzone, minus DM, I'm talking about 6v6 here, ladies and gentlemen. The real core deal of what Call of Duty is, this right here proves why this franchise cannot redeem themselves. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep into the topic of today's video, if you do enjoy what you hear today and want to hear some more stuff revolving around Call of Duty, X-Defiant, Battlefield, all that good stuff, then don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification button. We are going to be posting some more X-Defiant videos. I have been absolutely collecting all the information I could possibly find about negatives about X-Defiant, so do expect that video in another day or two. I'm just trying to get my full list ready for you guys with, like I said, very even-minded. I don't want to just throw stuff out there that I'm being toxic. No, I want to make sure that the criticism that we give for X-Defiant is very, very good. So, of course, like I said, if you guys want to hear this stuff, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. And last but not least, we do stream every day besides Sundays. So if you guys want to check that out, see some live stream vibes, and hang out with the community over on there, you can find the link to my Kick channel down in the description of this video. We usually start around 12 to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know about this game, there is a title out there called BattleBit. Basically, BattleBit is a very low-end looking game, but I'll be honest, it has been a ton of fun. I don't have any personal gameplay here because I haven't purchased my way into the game just yet. It's $15 on Steam, but I played a ton of the playtest in the past. I played it the second they even announced it. I made a lot of content about this game. You can actually go back on my channel, look through the playlists, find my BattleBit playlist, and see exactly what I've been saying about this game for ages now. It has always been a pretty solid title that I've personally enjoyed. But the reason I'm using BattleBit to prove why Call of Duty is on such a downward decline is for this reason exactly right here. As you can see on Twitter, Pro Reborn posted up the stats over on the Steam charts. Of course, you can't always go completely off of Steam charts. You know, there's always things like consoles and, other platforms that play Call of Duty, but at the end of the day, I find this very impressive. BattleBit is basically surpassing the main player count from modern Warzone 2, okay? We're talking about the Warzone experience. I think that's mixed in with the Modern Warfare 2 experience as well. I'm not too sure, but Jesus Christ, guys. BattleBit is not a AAA game. This was developed by one individual who later on eventually had enough, support to be able to hire a couple more people. So I think at the end of its life cycle, it has, 3, maybe 4 people altogether, okay? This game has nobody behind it, had no budget behind it, okay? This is the most bare-bone game you could ever find in your life. The graphics are bare minimum, but guess what? It's fun. Whoa! Who would have ever imagined that? A game that is fun, that doesn't have to rely off of graphics, that doesn't have to rely off of fancy animations, who doesn't have to rely off of, anything besides its own gameplay. And it's already popping off, and it's continuously popping off. Honestly, I didn't even expect it to get this much support when it finally launched, but my goodness, it is getting that support. People are obsessed. People are loving it, and it's a great sight to see. It's great, and I'm proud of those developers who put together this game because, of course, like I said, it's a lot of work. For 1 to 3 people, it started off with one guy, one person had to, build a foundation of this game, and then finally got some more assistance with the other people who hopped on board. But Jesus, that's a lot of work, and they were able to, live out their dream, and now they have one of the most played games on the Steam marketplace right now. Again, this to me proves why Call of Duty just fails. Year after year after year. Yes, obviously the sales are going to be through the roof. It's Call of Duty. It's one of the most well-known games out there. One of the most known names out there. I'm sure over half the people that you mention Call of Duty to will at least understand what you're talking about. Even if they don't understand the details, they'll understand, oh, it's that one FPS shooting game. Even if it's that basic, they'll still have an understanding of COD, okay? It's extraordinarily popular. People buy it every single year, and people even just buy it simply for the campaigns. Forget multiplayer. Forget playing it any longer than, for a handful of hours. No, they buy for the campaign and they throw it aside. They'll gladly spend $60 to $70 for just a campaign out of COD. That's how popular, the Call of Duty name is. But regardless of how much money Activision pulls in from the casual side of Call of Duty, that doesn't mean the player count is going to stay. Every year, they make massive amounts of money, yet and still they cannot surpass what their previous player counts back in the day, like World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2. They still can't touch upon those concurrent players. Yeah, obviously the game will, have, as you see, 77,000 people on average. Not bad still, but there used to be millions of people who were on consistently playing Call of Duty because the game was fun. When you purchased a Call of Duty game and you loaded up multiplayer, every year there was something new. Every year there was something unique. Every year there was something that was updated. Every year there was something that was fresh. Whether the streaks changed, the different guns, weapons, different ways to, use your attachments and, the perks, everything. But they kept the identity the same. Nowadays, instead of changing the game to make it a better 6v6 game, they change it to make it pointless. Like how they removed the minimap from multiplayer, but they allow you to see red dots in Warzone. Like how they completely revamped the perk system to make it the worst perk system you would ever see, and still don't listen to any community feedback, even though we all as a group have agreed that this perk system is just not Call of Duty. They still won't budge whatsoever. It blows my mind, but this is the reason why their player count dies so quickly, because nobody wants to deal with that. Of course, they will still have numbers because the game gets a lot of money. People, obviously, like I said, it's a lot of casuals out there. Me speaking on this video, all of us listening to this video, we are a very small portion of the community, okay? There are probably millions of people out there who don't watch any of this content who will buy it and still play it. That's why it still gets the numbers that it gets. But could it be better? Yes, it could. The fact that a game like BattleBit that has 3 people working on it, that looks like how it does, it just doesn't make any sense that they are able to match player counts. Call of Duty should be passing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, right? Especially all these years later, especially with the name becoming even more popular. It's not like COD, the name is becoming irrelevant. No, more and more people have learned about the name Call of Duty over the years. So why isn't the player count increasing with it? Because they just simply don't care about what makes COD COD. 6v6. I'll tell you that much. BattleBit, throughout the whole life cycle, they made sure they listened to their community, they made sure they knew what the people wanted, and they developed their game around the community they had. It was always popular back then. You could always find packed servers in the betas that it had. And still up to this date, now that it's officially launched, you best guarantee with 77,000, I think 80,000 probably plus, you are guaranteed to find lobbies on a consistent basis. They knew what they were doing. And you want to know one more thing on why BattleBit was able to succeed compared to Call of Duty? Because they took their time with the game. It's one of the main things I'm a little worried about with XDefiant, but I still have faith that the developers know what they're doing. They're going to push out a really good product. I enjoyed both betas. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit concerned, right? But BattleBit, they took their time with the game. Patience is key. And these publishers don't understand this. Maybe the developers, obviously the developers, because they're passionate about the games, but the publishers, they don't care about patience. They care about putting a game out on a deadline, no matter what state the game is in. And that absolutely hinders every last bit of creativity within Call of Duty. It does. BattleBit took their time. They didn't force the game out. And even though a lot of us, including myself as well, I'll be honest, I was one of those people that said, I'm kind of getting tired of these play tests because it's hard to get into. They would only have a couple to a few play tests every once in a while. They were extraordinarily early in the morning if you live where I live. I'm on the east coast of the US, so it's like, the time zones, I would have to be up at like 8 or 9 to be able to get some time into BattleBit during those closed sessions. So, it's difficult. So a lot of people weren't too happy with it. But they didn't care. They took their time still. They did what they had to do. And guess what? The game turns out to be phenomenal because they did exactly that. Could you imagine Call of Duty if they actually had the time to develop a game? Could you imagine if they could actually have more than just, the time that they have to be creative, think of things to spark the 6v6 side of things, think of smart ways to, like that perk system was definitely something that was put together in probably less than 5 minutes. That concept was probably thrown out on the drawing board. They said, who cares? Warzone is all the people care about now. We'll just do whatever. They want change. We'll change it a little bit there and move on. I'm talking about really sitting down and thinking and, actually troubleshooting and just getting good ideas and concepts out there for the community, even troubleshooting with your community. I've been saying this for a long time. I know, they don't like to do this and they don't treat betas like betas, but the betas are the perfect time to be able to understand what your community wants and what should be changed around within the game. And everybody always says, oh, but there's no time. There's no time for them to do that. And I'm like, do you know how much they changed in XDefiant with just a month or two's worth of time between the betas? A pretty darn decent amount. It's not impossible. They just choose not to. They put out a game. They said, okay, this is what we want it to be. Screw what everybody else wants it to be. This is how it stays. And the result of that is, yeah, they'll get players. They do. Call of Duty is not even in any way, shape, or form a dead game. 77,000 people, regardless, is a lot of people constantly on that title. But does it live up to what it used to be? No. And should it be better than it is right now? Should it be more people? Yes. And honestly, I believe that if more games take the direction of BattleBit, a lot more successful titles will come out that have that type of support. You know, just look at XDefiant. You know, they might be being a little pushed by Ubisoft, but at the end of the day, their communication and their love with their community and their willingness to make sure that they can polish off a title to the best of everybody's ability, you know, that is something that's so crucial and so needed nowadays. And I promise you, if more games can follow that pattern, more stuff can release successfully. You know, if Battlefield 2042, if DICE, the developers, can take their current communication and mindset and have that at the jump of the next Battlefield game, we'll be in a whole different environment. The problem was we didn't have that at the beginning of Battlefield 2042. We caved in for the title, we fell for the bait, and we got what we got. But if they bring the same communication they have now to the beginning of the next title, you know, things would be way different. Development teams need to pick this up, especially the Call of Duty devs and Activision even more, because, you know, without it, these games will never live up to their full potential. But, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like button. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new, enjoy the content, subscribe to the double cage button. Also, want to chat me, there's two ways to do so. I have a Twitter and Discord, both linked down in the description. And also want to catch me live streams of video games over on Twitch, link that's in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.